Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's session. Our session today is session 2 as part of our competition series that we are running throughout November. Our session today is EBSCO AI for Research, Discover More Faster. Now, a little bit about me. My name is Nadia Davis. I am a librarian with over 13 years experience in both the academic and public library sectors, and I joined EBSCO way back in 2016. And as today's session is part of our competition series, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the details to how to enter the competition later on in the session. But just a couple of things, you do need to watch the live session or the recording right until the end. Attend at least one of our competition sessions in November. So we are running 4, but really there are 2 sessions, and then we're having 2 encore sessions from next week and, of course, the last Tuesday in November. Now, to enter the competition, all you need to do is sign up to our training newsletter and complete and submit the session quiz within 1 week. Moving on from there, I've got a couple of objectives from our session today. It is my hope that by the end, you'll be able to describe and apply 5 key search strategies to help improve your search accuracy. You'll also be able to use EBSCO's AI natural language search mode to help you build and find relevant research materials, generate AI insights for full text articles, and access our linked data tools, including citation discovery, references, and retracted articles. And I'll show you where you can locate additional help resources. Now, in today's session, I will encourage you to follow along. So I'm going to put in the chat window, and you might already have seen that put in earlier, a link to access a demo platform along with the password. So if you click on that link, that will take you into a page. The username will already be there, and you just need to put in the password. If anyone has any problems logging in, just let me know via the chat. You can also join using your mobile device if you would like to scan the QR code and just again enter in that password. So for anyone that's just joining now, you'll find the link to follow along in the chat. Okay, moving on. So the first thing we're going to look at as part of our session today is EBSCO's top 5 searching strategies. And we're going to look at how we can use these to get the most out of your EBSCO research before we dive into some of our AI tools. Now, I don't know if everyone has seen this before, but we have a really useful 2-page handout covering the top 5 searching strategies. I have provided links into the slide deck, and you will receive a copy of this slide deck after the session as well. And if you have your mobile device handy, you can also scan the QR code and have that delivered to your mobile device. If you're interested in more research and writing tips, we also have an excellent website on EBSCO Connect with various help resources as well. So if you'd like to download a free copy of our top 5 search strategies, you can do so using the QR code or, of course, using the link in the slide deck afterwards. So part of our session now is going to walk through these top 5 searching strategies in further detail. So the first thing we're going to look at here is our Boolean operators. And a lot of you on the session today might be very familiar with Boolean. Some of you might not be too familiar, so I'm just going to cover the basics with you now. So very briefly, we have and or not. The and operator is used to create a narrowed search. So if I was to search for social media and mental health, the system will find articles that feature both of those search terms. And you can see my example search down here and the number of results I have received. The or Boolean operator can be used to create a broad search, and it will look for any or either of your keywords. In this case, I've typed in social media or mental health. So I'll be finding articles about social media as well as articles about mental health. And just note my results. They're a lot broader than my and search. The other Boolean operator we have is the not. And this will again create a more focused or narrow search, because what this is doing is omitting certain terms from your search results. So in this case, I've typed social media, not mental health. So I want articles about social media, but I don't want any articles featuring mental health. And you'll see my results are here. So 163,000, it's still quite a large set of search results, but it would just be focusing on social media now and not including mental health at all. So you can see the slight differences between the different searches using those different Boolean operators. Now, the second part of this I want to cover with you is something called nested queries, where we're combining our Boolean operators. So you can use Boolean operators in conjunction with nested queries. And it's important to understand how this works in EBSCO as well, because our nested queries, our parentheses, specify the order in which that Boolean is interpreted. So information within the parentheses is always read first. In this example here, I've got social media or social network in parentheses, and then I've got and then I've got mental health. So I'll be finding articles about social media or social network and mental health. If I did not include my parentheses, and we can just see in my top search here, I've just got social media or social network and mental health, the system is actually going to process social network and mental health first, and then social media. So you might find that your search results are missing social media until you're quite far down your list of results. So just remember, nested queries help to focus your search, and it allows the system to interpret that information first and then work that query within the system. Now, a couple of other examples I have here. I've used in this example double quotation marks around social media and social network and mental health. So you will notice my search results are a little bit different. If we're using double quotation marks, it just means social media must be in that particular order, same as social network and same as mental health. So you'll see I've excluded around 2,000 results here just by making it a little more specific and a little more focused. And then my last result down here, you'll notice it's a little bit higher. And that is because I've put an asterisk here. We call this truncation after network. So it's going to look for social networks, social networking, and so on. So my results are a little higher because it's a little bit broader. So these are just some examples of more advanced searching with your Boolean and some additional search tips. Okay, moving on from there, our next tip is truncation. I've already just sort of mentioned that to you, but just to let you know, this is an asterisk that we can apply at the stem of a word to retrieve word endings. In this case, I use that social network example. So I'm finding social networks, social networking, social networker, and so on. So it will broaden your search a little bit because it's going to find the variations on the word endings. Now, in this example, I've got environment. With my asterisk, it's going to retrieve environments, environmental, and environmentalism, and so on. So just a tip, you might find truncation quite helpful when you're constructing a search. Our third tip is wildcards. So we have a few different wildcards I want to mention here. We have the question mark, which is our single character wildcard, and we have the hashtag, which is our alternate character wildcard. Now, in this example, I've used my single character. So with the term here of woman, I've put my question mark in. So the system will then retrieve both woman and women in my search results. So it's a single character that it's replacing. The hashtag, on the other hand, is used quite commonly for that alternate character, particularly for British to American spelling, where, for example, terms like colour or behaviour, for example, we include that extra U, that alternate character. So in this case, we type in COLO hashtag R, the system will retrieve the variations, both colour and with our alternate character as well. So wildcards include single character question mark or alternate character hash. And one last wildcard that you can also use is that asterisk again, but this time we're not truncating the word, we're actually going to use it as a wildcard between two other terms. Now, if you are using this, please make sure you put a space between your first word and the question mark, or otherwise it's going to truncate it. And of course, a space between the asterisk and your second term as well. So in this case, I've got social asterisk disorder. What the system will do is find that missing word between social and disorder. So it can help you to uncover different keywords that you might not have thought about before. In this case, I've got social media disorder, I've got social anxiety disorder, and so on. So wildcard again provides that link between two other words. Okay, our fourth strategy, our search strategy here is field searching. Now, this is often known or referred to as either qualified searching or even command line searching. And it helps you to create a very focused set of search results. If you're using the advanced search on EBSCO, you'll actually see a drop down where you can select a certain field that your keywords will be found within. So in this case, I've got social media and mental health in the title field. So I ran a couple of searches to show you the difference between them. In this top search, I've used all fields and I have around 9,500 results, so quite a lot. In the second search, I've used the TI, the title field, for that same search, and I have 338 results because it's only finding articles where social media and mental health are in the title field. Now, you can use the field code as well for things like partial citations. So, for example, if you know the author surname and maybe you know some words in the title field or just the all fields maybe on a particular topic that you know that author publishes about, you could do a partial citation, put your keywords in the title field, use your and Boolean, and then in the author field, put the author surname in, and that will help you locate those relevant articles. Now, different databases will also have different fields. So I always recommend, have a look at the drop down, see what kind of fields are there and how you can create more specific searches. I'll touch on this shortly when we get to the live demo. All right, now my last tip, our top 5 is our proximity searching. So this allows you to control the proximity of your term to one another in your search results. And there are two proximities. There is a W for within. This is where terms are near each other in the order that you have specified. So it's more focused, it's more controlled. The N search is a near search. So your terms are near each other, but they can be in any order. So again, I've got a couple of search examples to show you here. So in this case, I've got social media within 3 words of mental health, and you can adjust that precision distance as well. I've used 3 words. You could use 5, you could use 4, you could use 10. It's up to you. Social media within 3 words of mental health, 485 results. So social media and mental health must be in that order because within search, it must be the order specified. My second search down here, I've used the N3. So social media is near 3 words of mental health, but can be in any order. So you'll notice I have a few more results than the within search. So it just depends on how controlled that you need to be. But again, these are some examples of the difference between using W or N in your proximity searching. Okay, so that is my top 5 search tips. I hope you found that helpful. I'm going to move on now to EBSCO AI. So with EBSCO AI, we're going to be looking at 2 AI tools, natural language search mode and AI insights. And both of these are designed to help you discover more faster. Now, before I go too much further, I just want to mention in terms of AI, responsible use of artificial intelligence is everyone's responsibility. So EBSCO has a couple of really great resources. I have linked them into the slides, but I will just take a quick segue out to show you the site. So this is the AI at EBSCO website. You can view more information about products and features. There's even resources for libraries as well if you're wanting to learn a little bit more. And we also have the EBSCO AI tenets. Definitely worth reading through this. It will talk about the quality, transparency, information literacy, equity, users, and also data integrity. So really worth having a look at these pages. And again, I have linked them into the slide deck so you can view them in your own time. The other thing I've got in here as well for your reference is some common AI terms that you'll hear mentioned. So this is a nice little cheat sheet for you. The things that you will hear, particularly with some of the tools I'll show you today, will include LLM, the large language model. This is an AI model that predicts an inferred statement. And LLMs will use AI to enable computers to comprehend and respond to human language. The other thing that I'll mention today too is something called human in the loop. Now, this is a form of artificial intelligence where human judgment is integrated with machine learning processes to help enhance their accuracy and effectiveness. And another term you'll hear me mention too is NLP, or natural language processing. And this is a branch of computer science that enables machines to understand, interpret, and generate human language. So I've got a few different acronyms on here, and you are certainly welcome to use it as a reference moving forward. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is natural language search mode. So I've walked you through 5 tips to help you create an effective search strategy. Now we're going to use AI to discover more faster. So we're going to use this natural language search mode. So, what is natural language search? It is a search mode and it uses artificial intelligence and natural language processing to interpret a user's intent from a query. So, I'm going to take you into a live demo. So, again, if you're following along, open up the page and we're going to be searching for what is the impact of social media on the mental health of young adults. Now, natural language search mode works best if you're using a question or a statement format. I've got some tips towards the end of the session around some common questions for some of our AI tools, but the thing to remember is it's working with natural language, how you might speak your research topic, for example. So let's have a look. So if you have clicked on the demo site I put in the chat, you should be landing on a page like this. I'm landing on a basic search today, and we are searching the Academic Search Ultimate database. If you in your library land on the advanced search, you can also access natural language search through your search options and by toggling on the natural language search mode. So if you have this enabled in your library, it might be in a slightly different location. I land on basic search, so we have a little toggle here. So what we're going to do is enter in that statement, and that is simply, what is the impact of social media on the mental health of young adults? So statement or question format works best with this. All right, now I've got my search results, and you'll just see here 2073. So it's not a huge amount of search results, but if we have a look at my search results here, I can see my keywords appearing. I can see that they're quite relevant to my search as well. Here's my subject headings: young adults, social media, and mental health. Exploring the impact of social media on mental health. And you get the idea. It's all very quite relevant to my search topic. Now, what I really wanted to show you was this little tool here. So once we run our natural language search, you'll see there's a little thing called Show Refined Query. And if we click on that, it will actually provide you with a Boolean search using those nested queries that I mentioned to you a little bit earlier. So it's taken this statement using our large language model and interpreting that using natural language processing as well into this searchable Boolean style search. So a nice way to really quickly search for your topic and get those keywords, etc. What you can also do is you can copy this. So you could copy that natural language search, and if we go back to a new search, we can paste it in. Now, bear in mind, if we are using this, it's going to use your default search modes. So you'll see the same set of results, but if we go to my advanced search here, we go into search options, my default search mode is proximity. So it's not going to be exactly the same. You might notice the results look a little bit different, but now I've got that search strategy, I can begin to edit it. So maybe I want to include some additional terms or synonyms using my OR Boolean. Maybe I want to add an additional keyword. Maybe I want to look at Australia or New Zealand here, for example. Again, I could start to edit that search as well. Okay, so just showing you some little tips that you might choose to use. And again, if you are using the platform, if we go into our recent activity and access our search history, we can see those different searches logged here. And I could save those searches for later. I can also edit those searches as well, add them to a project if I wanted to save them for later and organize my saved content. So that is some examples. Now, another thing that you can also do from here too, let's say we ran our search, we saved our search, we could also create an alert on our search strategy. So we're notified by email the next time a new article is published for that particular topic. Okay, so I'm going to move on from there. And again, just going through what I've shown you. So we've got the refined query, which we can then copy. And using that refined query, we can paste it back in. We can run it again using whatever our default search modes might be. We can use search history to edit the strategy. We can even export the strategy to Word, Excel, or PDF. We can save the search, create an alert on the search as well. So the one thing I didn't show you was downloading your search history. So if we go into recent activity again, and you may find this helpful, if you select any of your searches, there is a download button and you can download using any of the supported formats. I actually prefer CSV because that way I can edit it in Excel and then copy it very easily back into EBSCO. So that option is also there for you to help you save some time. Okay, now I do have a very quick hands-on activity for you. So if you are in the chat window, again, I'm going to just pop that follow along in case I've had anyone come in a little bit later. You have a minute and a half for this. I'm sorry, it's very short. I'm going to hit the timer, but what I want you to do is, oops, is let's just do a minute. Okay, my timer's not working very well. So you've got a minute and a half. I'm going to time it elsewhere. What I want you to do is just do the exact same thing I did before. We're going to do what is the impact of social media on mental health? Make sure you're running a natural language search mode. And what I'll get you to do is just copy that refined query and enter it into the chat window for me. So that refined Boolean query that it provides based on your statement. So you have 1 minute and I will time this on my device. Great. I'm getting some chats coming through. Amazing. Thank you very much. Oh, great. Oh, there's some slightly different ones. That's interesting. I guess it depends if you've used the exact same search or not. So, yeah. And what I really like about it too is that if you're thinking about terms and synonyms and you're not sure what to use, it gives you some really good suggestions. Excellent. Thank you. Oops. All right, so I think we've got most of our chats coming through. Feel free to continue working on that. Send through your chats when you generate them. For time, I will move forward. I can see a few more are coming through, so that's great. And absolutely, yes, I've had a question saying, will we get access to the slides of the recording afterwards? Yes, you'll get both. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you find the natural language search quite useful for building your searches. And just a little couple of things to remember. It will help you get your research started quickly. It helps you identify keywords and synonyms. It can help you to then edit and improve that initial query using EBSCO's tool. You can save that search and you can also create search alerts using the My EBSCO features as well. All right, so our next AI tool is something called AI Insights. Now, we use natural language search to create our search strategy, and we're going to use EBSCO's AI Insights to help evaluate the relevance of the results that we find. So EBSCO's AI Insights is a type of generative AI. It will help to present concise summaries of the key points of a document, usually between 2 and 5 points. It is grounded in the full text as well, so it is different to the abstract. Please note, libraries do have to request AI insights, so if you don't see it in your library, it could just mean that it hasn't been requested. And please also note that not all records will have an AI insight, as we use a controlled prompt with the large language model that we use here. But anyways, let's have a quick look at AI insights and how we can review those. So what I'm going to do is rerun one of my searches that we did a little bit earlier. And using the search results here, I've got a nice one right at the top. You'll see I have a button called Generate AI Insights. Now, some records won't have them. Some records will. Again, it depends on whether the publisher has allowed the AI insight to be there. There could be some limitations as well. So let's generate this AI insight. So it's just looking at the full text of this record, and it's just providing me with up to 5 points based on the full text. So I'm looking at this title here, Eco-Anxiety Among Regional Australian Youth with Mental Health Problems. If I scroll down a little bit here, it gives me those insights. So I can really identify at this point, is it worth me going and reading the full text? Maybe it is. I've looked at this. It might be quite useful for my topic. I could then save it into my save sections to review later. Like I said, some records will have the AI Insight button, some records will not. I also mentioned in that list of terms about human in the loop. So down here, you'll notice there's an option to say, did you find the insight helpful or not? This is where our human in the loop team will review the accuracy. Okay, and we also provide a little disclaimer as well to say that it is based on the content of the source document. You might also find the insights will change over time, as that's the nature of AI. But again, what it's really primarily used for is to give you that overview so that you know whether to spend your time reading the full text and if it's relevant to your topic. So, a couple of little tips if you're using AI insights, it will help you to evaluate the relevance. It will help you understand the context of that research to your particular topic, and it allows you to sort of preview the record before you read the full text. It summarizes. Now, there are some tips for using AI insights I wanted to mention. Please ensure you always cite the source reference. And if you're not sure how to use EBSCO's source cite tool, I'll show you. So to the right-hand side of here, you've got your cite tool. Always cite that source reference, okay? So we support multiple styles here. You can copy the end text citation to your clipboard. And if you're using something like EndNote, Zotero, we also provide the export to your citation manager as well. So that's my first tip. The second one is acknowledging its role. So explain how the AI insights have helped you. And I provide a small example here as well. And then lastly, the thing is double check for accuracy. AI insights are a type of technology and they are not always perfect. So just make sure you compare with the full article to ensure the information is correct. So that's our AI insights. I hope you find those useful. The next thing I wanted to touch on was just the common questions around AI. I'm not going to go through these with you now, but again, these slides will be made available to you so you can use this as a reference. So a couple of things you might be finding is using that natural language search mode. If you don't get any results, I mentioned make sure you're using a question or a statement or a phrase. If you use just a single word or a really specific query, you might not get any results. So really good tips on using both of those tools. Okay, now our last part of our session is discovering more relevant results faster with EBSCO's linked data. So this is a fairly new release, and we use something here called EBSCO's Scholarly Graph, or the ESG. And the Scholarly Graph is a type of knowledge graph that is really a network of interlinked descriptions that describe things like people, publications, institutions, topics using this linked data structure. And it helps to provide really powerful discovery experiences. So there are 3 parts to this. The first one is citation discovery, and you might have noticed this in my search results before. We have a cited by count indicator. Cited by count show other articles that have cited your source article. So it can help to indicate the relevance and the importance of an article in its field. And the citation discovery also helps you evaluate and discover other relevant topics and pieces of research. So let's have a look at this one. So sticking with my search results from earlier, we can see for this record, it's actually been cited by 10. Now this was published in December 2024, so almost a year ago. So cited by 10, if I click on that button, it will open a panel to the right and show me the citing articles. Now you'll notice that some are black and some have a blue hyperlink. When we see the blue hyperlink, it means it's available somewhere in the library. Where it's black, it means it's not available within the EBSCO environment, but you could still locate it because it includes the DOI and of course the title. So just letting you know that's there. It will also show you the citation count highest, but you can also sort by publication date as well. Now, another access point for your citations is in the detailed or abstract record. So if we click on that title link, you'll see your cited by is also listed here as a little tab. And again, you can browse through the list. I sometimes find this is a bit of an easier view. And if there's a lot of different citing articles, you can expand the list as well. You also have the option to sort. So maybe you want to look at the published date newest or maybe the published date oldest for those cited by counts. That option to do so is here. So that's our cited by, fairly new release as well. The next one, which is still part of our linked data, is something called our references feature. So this will help you to discover connections to a piece of research. It helps you to easily locate records that will help you further in your research. And again, anything with that blue link means it's available within the EBSCO environment or within the library. So what you'll notice is in that detailed record, there is a tab next to cited by with your references. So these are the references used by the authors of that source record. And this is always sorted by publication date newest. So if we were to sort this by citation count highest, we can see different records appearing there. And sometimes you might find really high citation counts. So sometimes that will indicate that that piece of research is almost a seminal piece on that particular topic. So really great way to find other information that's relevant to your topic quickly and easily. All right, so that's references. Again, you'll find them in the detailed record if they are available. And anything with the blue link just means it's available. Now, our last linked data feature that's been a very new release is something called retractions or a retraction indicator. Now, sometimes people will publish an article, but there might be something wrong with it, or maybe something's been found that sort of contradicts it, for example, and so that article might be retracted by the publisher or by the author or even by the editor. So we now have retraction indicators as visual markers that highlight whether an article has been retracted or corrected. So what you're going to see is in the title field, you'll see retracted article, and you'll see a little flag saying this resource is retracted. And then within the abstract, there's usually a description of why that research has been retracted. So let's have a look at this on the platform. If you're looking for them specifically, you can try a title search. So I mentioned earlier about using the fields. So in the title field, we have a little flag called retracted article. Okay, so for example, retracted article, I'm just going to press the search button here to run that search. And if a retracted article is available there, you'll see the flag or the indicator. So on this database, I found about 1,200 retracted articles. Now, let's say I wanted to look for retracted articles on social media and mental health. If there's any retracted articles on this topic, I could use my field search to look there. So here we have a retracted article. And if we click into the title link, we can view more information about the retraction. It would just take you to EBSCO Connect and into the help documentation about that retraction indicator. But if we scroll down a little bit, we can view information here. So in this case, it's saying this section discusses the retraction of the article here. So we see some information about that retraction. Okay, so that is our retracted article feature. And that takes me to the end of our session today. So I'm going to pause here and see if anybody has any questions. All right. If you do, please feel free to pop them through into the chat window for me, and I'll answer them offline for you. I've also provided a long list of help resources that you can work through at your own time on the topics that we've covered today. I've also got a list of references that I've used within the slide presentation. And lastly, just entering the competition. So, as I mentioned earlier in the session, step one, register for our monthly training newsletter. I've provided the sign up form. Step two, you have a quiz that you need to complete within 1 week. This quiz will be due midnight, your local time, next Tuesday, 18th of November. Once you submit that quiz and sign up to the training newsletter, you're in the draw to win a cash prize. So, what are the prize details? You will win $150 USD. So, I've just had a couple of questions. Is the AI search available with a regular subscription or is it an added extra? No, the AI search, the natural language search, that is completely free of charge. It's a search mode and it can be enabled in Experience Manager. So, feel free to email me directly after the session in case you've got some specific questions. I can set that up for you. So, I'll pop my email in for everyone as well. Okay, so grand prize winner will receive $150 USD. That is the equivalent in your local currency. So hopefully the exchange rate is good. We have one winner in Southeast Asia and one winner in Oceania. We also have two runners up, $50 USD, again, the equivalent in your local currency, one runner up in Southeast Asia and one in Oceania. And our winners will be announced on Friday, December 5th. I will be sending you a link, an email after the session, of course, providing you with the slide deck and a link to the recording and also the quiz for this session. We also have a series survey. We try to run these competition series every 6 months. So let us know what you think. If you have any suggestions for future sessions, we do encourage you to put through our series survey and let us know your thoughts. And just a reminder, if you missed the first session, you can still attend the encore sessions. Session one is repeating next week, and session two will be repeating on the 25th of November. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That takes me to the end of the session. Have a great day. You'll hear from me very shortly, and good luck with the competition.